much.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Mary's County Emergency Services Board meeting. Today's date is August 12th, 2026. We'll start the meeting by introducing the board. I am Jay Nelson, the chairman representing the Fire Board Association. To my right is Hattie Norris, member at large representing the Rescue Squad Association. We have Jason Adams, president of the Fire Board Association. To my left, Sean Davidson, the county EMS chief. Dr. Craig Melville, the jurisdictional medical director. Deputy Director Kirsten Shea, Department of Emergency Services, and President Ken Hicks of the Rescue Squad Association. Joining us online tonight, we have County Fire Chief Ernest Rogers, Director of the Department of Emergency Services Jen Utz, and Deputy Administrator for St. Mary's County Dave Yingling. Along with that, DES support staff in the room tonight, Mary Ann Gardner and Angel Clem, along with Amy Carter assisting us with the audiovisual. We will begin the meeting with the review and approval of last meeting's minutes.
I move to accept the meetings from the June 10th, 2026 meeting as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move into old business. The first item we have under old business is the emergency services report.
Alrighty. Hi, everybody. Good evening. So kind of an update. July 1st, we got some additional positions in the budget. So just currently where we stand with our vacancies, we currently do have 10 EMT vacancies, but we do have 6 in the hiring process. So we have 4 more that we're still trying to recruit. We do have 3 paramedic supervisor vacancies, and we have 9 full-time paramedic vacancies that we're working to hire and looking at some additional recruitment methods to attract people for those positions. In our communications division, we currently have 4 openings with 3 people in the hiring process, so we're actually down to 1 opening in communications at this time. It's been a lot of hard work to get those positions filled in communications. Speaking of communications, starting August 1st, we finally kicked off our quality assurance program. It's called QPR in communications. We've been working at this for a couple years, and now that we have Tyler Catt online and everything coming together, it allows the National Academy to start doing quality assurance reviews of our 911 calls, completely third party by nationally certified reviewers. So we're happy. Our first call started August 1st, and we are starting to receive back our first feedback now. So that's a huge step for us in the center. This week we also started the UPS power expansion project at the main center. So I know we've talked previously here at this board about our UPS, and sometimes we have a very short amount of time when something does happen, should we have a generator problem or something along those lines. So we're expanding power at our building. So that project started this week, and we hope to have it wrapped up in the next couple of weeks. The goal in the end is for us to have approximately 45 minutes up to an hour of time should we have a power outage and something not properly work with the generator. Also in the FY27 budget, we're working towards ordering the radios that were approved for EMS, rolling out the XL200 portables, getting them ordered and deployed out to the field. We've also formed the committee with the fire partners for the new hazmat vehicles, and they've, I believe, had their first meeting, and we're working through that process. And then the other thing to report is, of course, the volunteer incentive program. So the treasurer's office has applied the property tax credits to the properties. That information has been delivered to finance, so we should start to see checks being sent out September timeframe is what we're expecting. And then internally, DES is working on a policy for the VIP program to kind of help that framework as we've worked through 2 cycles now, just to kind of get some of that in black and white for the program. So that's all I have. Jen, I know you're online as well. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, no, Kirsten, I think you covered it all well. The only other thing in the FY27 budget that's impactful for our center is the core upgrade, which is replacing and modifying any older end-of-life network systems and support systems. So that's another $2.5 million investment into the system by the commissioners of St. Mary's County. And so, again, another step into strengthening our system. But thanks for covering us tonight, and I look forward to hearing the discussion.
Thank you.
The only thing I had in reference to the VIP, are we able to, now that we've got all the numbers in, provide, was there an increase, or do we know that yet on the amount of responders or
So overall, there were more I'm trying to think. I wish I had that.
I think it would be good for next meeting if we
We can
get
bring that back.
and show that I think it definitely worked. To what extent and how much, I think that'd be good to report back out.
Okay, yeah, we'll bring that back next meeting.
Any other questions for Kirsten? All right. Next item we have Deerwood Park Drive report. Ernest, did you have anything? I know I have what we have if you didn't want to, or you weren't able to talk.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So this month's been very chaotic with everybody's schedule, so there's nothing new to report, but we'll be diving back into the Deerwood Park Drive report very soon and finish up a couple of the recommendations that we're still being tabled and needing attention.
All right. Any questions for Ernest? All right. Last old business item I have is in-station CAD integration. We have Director Utz for that. Kirsten, are you speaking on that, or?
I'll turn it over to Director Utz.
Yeah, I believe Dave Ealing's going to give the update on that. Dave, did you want to take that, or?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jen. I was trying to unmute. Thank you guys very much for allowing me a little bit of time to come into your meeting. We've had a lot of work by our IT department, Deputy Director Shea and Director Utz, and our partners working behind the scenes on the letter that you sent us at the last ESB meeting, identifying 13 items that you all would want to see displayed in a station alerting system. During those discussions, our partners at Bay District Volunteer Fire Department identified another option that they wanted to, and I believe have moved forward with station alerting called Chief 360. Chief 360 is a very interesting product in that it obtains information out of our CAD differently, provides some different capability as far as pre-alerting. Essentially, the box that's responsible for the call will know that it's coming, so the firefighters can start getting ready. That is a very ripe conversation for the Procedures Committee to take up between police, fire, and EMS because it's a little different than how we currently do business. But with the change in structures and construction, that would provide a quicker response for the first responder community. Also EMS, they know that a call is coming out for something. There's a few details that would have to be worked out with that. I believe Bay District's moved ahead with the purchase of that. I wanted to have this meeting before I responded to Bay District. They had sent us a email earlier in the week or late last week, and just get some guidance on that. But they do plan on moving ahead with that, so we can support that in the short term by providing an email parser connection to that additional platform. And then we've been working diligently with the three current providers, Active 911, APS, and First Arriving, which are the other three platforms that are currently being served by email parsing. There have been some solutions identified to some of the information that the departments want. I don't think it'll provide you everything you want, but it will provide some additional capability through an exporter that will provide some crucial function, which would be, I think there's been a lot of talk about if there is the email parsing is a one-time send out of information. So for example, if a location changes during the event, there's not an update to that situation on the alerting. You don't know that till you get into your apparatus and you're on the Tyler tablet. And so the second connection would provide an opportunity to update information in real time to the first responders going to that call. And then the Chief 360 has a more complicated process that they are capable of performing called a SQL server, where through a lot of work by our IT department, they would be able to identify specific pieces of information and pull that out and provide that to that platform. That provides some unique opportunities for that. The concerns that we talk about with that process is load on the CAD. You have 3 or 4 different systems that are constantly pinging the CAD, so load on the CAD as far as information just constantly pinging that. So IT is proposing a solution to that problem, which will require a trip to the commissioners of St. Mary's County to identify funding to purchase some equipment that would basically create a virtual machine that's so essentially that those programs would be pinging our virtual CAD instead of the real CAD. So we won't crash our real CAD, which is the critical infrastructure that we use for the system. And I would anticipate a trip to the commissioners either late August, early September. There have been robust conversations with the new IT director who was out of Prince George's County, which when we were at the meeting with Bay District about 6 weeks ago, one of the solutions that works really well is a solution in Prince George's County. He was the IT deputy director in Prince George's County, so I want to take advantage of that experience. But I think we have good progress on the information that you want and the solutions that you want. We've gotten fair responses from Chief 360, but the moving forward, we just want to make sure that we don't do anything that overloads the system. And again, there are financial, each one of these additional connections that are going to provide the backup capability to fire and EMS would have a cost. And so instead of asking individual departments for those funds, our intention is to ask the commissioners for those funds and make it available. But then going forward, I think long-term, the request would be to identify a custom solution for all of the requests that you all requested, which were the 13 items that came in your last letter. I think our preference would be to support what we are doing now, plus the Chief 360 platform in some portion, as long as we can work out the SQL, I think that would be viable. But then say we can't do any more. The system is limited in what it can do, supporting multiple functions, and then do an RFP to the vendors to see if someone can identify exactly what you want. We support what we're doing now and then transition to a common platform over the next however many years it takes everyone to go to. As we expand in DES, EMS, and we will also need stationary learning, so that will allow the departments to leverage off of county innovation instead of you all constantly paying for what you are doing. So that there would be some level of infrastructure that you guys could level. So that's kind of what we're thinking, and I think the most important thing for me is to hear from this board and the partners on the thought process of that and see if that sounds like a viable path forward.
Yeah, so I think most of this is in line. So one of the things we talked about last month after we met was getting the group together under the associations to essentially make the recommendations for back to us, right, for what they're looking for. So we were able to accomplish that. And we have 5 recommendations that we have prepared, and I think most of them are close or kind of in line with what you just kind of discussed. But I'll kind of run through what they are, and then we can, if you had anything you wanted to add. But I think the board at least can discuss those. But the first one would be to maintain the email parser with active 911 with no changes. So all the responders that are using that, nothing would change. It would continue working the way it has been. And it doesn't look like there's any other ability to get any better service out of that other than the email parser. The next would be, and we do have a letter from Chief 360, but to create a connection and trial Chief 360 Mobile for Fire and EMS for a 60-day period. They are willing to, once that connection is made, they're willing to trial that for all fire and EMS responders in the county free of charge for 60 days. That would be the second recommendation. The third would be to develop and build the SQL connection for the two vendors, which would be APS and Chief 360. And we can discuss that further in reference to that. The fourth would be to explore the ability to provide an email parser to Firehouse Solutions for the current dashboards that are in the stations that are being built through our websites. If those pieces of information can be provided in a little more detail to them and they can get it on the dashboards, it may assist the stations as well. And then the last one is begin exploring the county working with Chief 360 to provide the alert controllers into each stations. And this is that larger project you're talking about. And the stations would be responsible for adding additional connections, lights, bells, whistles, that kind of stuff. But getting that connection to each station that's the same and will be compatible with what they have and what we want moving forward.
Yeah, Jay, I think that's probably 80% of what I said. I think my understanding is APS and First Arriving do not support SQL.
So we talked to them while we were during that meeting. They said they are looking, and it sounded like they had possibly already talked to IT about
definitely talked to IT
about developing that. So yeah, I would agree that it is not currently working. So we just wanted that as a to move forward. So I think First Arriving, based off talking with Bay District, that would not be continued moving forward, and we would not want to support First Arriving moving in the future.
But we do have organizations that are using APS today, right?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I think the only difference between what we're talking about is adding the common exporter to APS so that it's capable of pushing updates, and then our procurement rules would just say. I don't know that we could say, hey, we want to do a SQL with just Chief 360. We would say, hey, we want a function that can do these 13 things. Who wants to come build it for us, and how much does that cost? That would be the RFP. And I think very similar to the CAD, we would build that out as or score that like we did fire, EMS, police, and put you guys in the driver's seat as far as picking the best solution for the future for you guys. But as far as being able to try things out, the first step in that process, I need the commissioners to approve some amount of money for a virtual server and some build out of this program. It's probably in the neighborhood of $50,000. That $30,000 to $50,000. I think they're still working out the numbers, but once I get that, I think we can move forward. So yes.
So I guess where I'm kind of at with that is, based off, and we can the actual wording or lingo in there. I think we can kind of massage that so it makes sense. But would it be the best option? And maybe this group can have the discussion. Is we add the sixth recommendation is to support the virtual machine that you're referencing.
I think that's fine. Or technical solutions that IT is proposing. I would, again, I have a new IT director. He's been here 2 weeks. He has great breadth in Prince George's County. So I want to leverage his solution. He might have an idea that's better than where I am, but he's comfortable with where we're going. I believe in the next ESB meeting, Director Utz is going to invite him to this meeting so that you all can meet him. And I'm sure he'll be at some of the chiefs meetings and RSA meetings and other things just as a new person. But I think we have a path forward, but the SQL will take some time to build, and it's not going to be Chief 360 that's holding us up. There is a finite number of people in the IT department. And when I say time, it's going to be measured in weeks or months, not years or decades. But Tyler CAD will not or does not do that configuration for us. And so it will be a IT professional from the county working with Chief 360 to manually configure all of those connections. So that will just take a little bit of time, but I think there's a viable path forward as long as we don't run into an unknown technical solution. But yeah, whatever support you can lend, Jay, I know the commissioners value the relationship from the ESB. You all were created for station alerting, so any support you could give Director Utz and Director Maines for bringing this proposal forward would be greatly appreciated.
All right.
And Jay, real quick, or actually, I guess for Dave, did you say that the email parser for now and the interim is going to be provided, or I might have missed that?
I've talked to IT. So every vendor we have talked to wants the email parser. There's none that says turn that off if you go to another connection. But essentially, the position of all the providers is we want as much data as we can get from you in various forms from a resiliency standpoint. And so the email parsers would continue, and every vendor we've talked to, including, I believe, Chief 360, I'm not the nuts and bolts guy on this, but I believe they also would support and would want the email parser. Transition to a common exporter connection, and then the longer-term project, which will take weeks or months, depending on manpower, technical ability, how long it takes to get a server, commissioners approving the project, to build out a SQL. If that is approved and if that is technically viable and if that will not harm CAD, then we would transition in that direction. If that SQL is set up, you guys are welcome to work out with Chief 360 and test whatever you want.
So, Dave, I think
Okay,
that
perfect. And thanks to JA and the rest of the committee that he's working with, and to the county government for finally getting this passed there. I know it was a difficult mission at first, but it definitely seems like we're on the right path and moving forward with this. So I do appreciate everybody's help.
So, Dave, are we at a point where you think letter from us that says we co-sign this as a concept is something that would be helpful?
I honestly do not see any resistance to the commissioners in the technical requirements. And so a vague letter of support would be helpful. I don't want to, other than laying out some requirements or maybe some broad, I just don't want to be tied into an area where maybe that's not the best solution again, but I defer to this board. This board advises the commissioners, but I
don't see a reason with we can't provide the letter with the recommendations, and if we need to leave specific vendor names out, I don't feel like that's an issue. I mean, I think we all know where the direction we're going, right? I wouldn't see an issue with that.
Yeah, the only thing I'm sensitive to is if we do an RFP, our procurement rules are set up for a reason, and we're going to let everybody compete. And if another vendor that we've never heard of comes up with a better solution for a common solution, then we would pick the best solution. But this group, the Firefighter Association, the RSA, would be driving that train, not me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the ESB provide a letter supporting the recommendations for alerting for the fire and EMS calls to the St. Mary's County Commissioners.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you all.
I'll
Thank
write
you,
that
Dave.
for you. Oh, then I
We
will.
didn't have any no's. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that
All
makes
right.
sense.
Um,
It's official.
we don't have any new business listed. Does anyone have any new business? All right. We will go into board member time. We'll start with Hattie. You have anything
I
tonight?
have nothing.
Jason?
School is starting. I believe the charter school may be going and the public schools are starting soon. Everybody just keep your eyes out for the school buses, for the little ones outside.
Want to go last?
Okay, sure.
Ready? Ken?
Oh, just watch out for those new speed cameras coming in the school zones.
Kirsten?
Just Frada was this past weekend. Thanks to all of the volunteers for everything that they do, and hope that everybody enjoyed it. It was a little warm, a little toasty.
On us, so.
Dr. Melville, do you have anything?
No, just kudos to everybody in this room and the people they represent. It's been 9 months now, almost 10 months, and it's been a privilege to work with all of you.
I have a couple.
Imagine that.
I know, right? So last time I discussed how our health department was in the grant process, looking at a multifaceted grant program from the state that will include a mobile integrated health program, and we found out yesterday that we got awarded for that. So that is super exciting. It's the St. Mary's 360 is the overarching plan for that, but it's going to facilitate us actually being able to stand up a mobile integrated health program in St. Mary's County, which is super exciting. So congratulations to Dr. Brewster and the folks of the health department who did the lion's share of the legwork on that, and I know we're super excited to be a part of that solution process. I want to take a second to say a public congratulations to Mark Pettit on his retirement from the Department of Emergency Services. It was good to see him at Friday over the weekend.
Yes.
For the first time in 20-some years, he's been able to actually participate
To sit
as a
back and
member of the
participate,
department
yeah.
versus being a part of pulling that together. So congratulations, Mark. We owe him a lot for the time that he spent holding stuff together for us. So yeah, that's what I got.
The only thing I have, again, thank you to the commissioners for continuing to support FRAD. I think it's a great event that we have every year. Sean, you did excellent singing the national anthem there. I thought it was a duet with Ernest, with the county chiefs, but he said no. I don't know what happened with that.
Well,
So-
you know, I figure everybody knows I got a big mouth, just not
Right.
everybody knows I can carry a tune.
So no, but we appreciate all of the staff helping with that and organizing and setting that up and all that. So it was a good event, and we really appreciate it. So with that, we have no public comments signed up, right, Marianne? No one signed up for public comment. Okay, all right. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And a second. All right. Have a great evening.